Why do they cheat, even when you give them everything? You buy the gifts, you stay loyal, you play perfect, and still, she strays. She laughs, she lies, she leaves. Machiavelli warned, loyalty is not born from love, but from power. When she feels control, she stays. When she feels freedom, she wanders. In this video, I'll expose the hidden psychology behind why women cheat, even on men who do everything right. And I'll show you the strategies to flip the script, to stay in control without ever begging. If you've ever been betrayed for being too perfect, don't blink. This isn't advice. This is your turning point. Stay until the end. 1. The hidden reality of cheating. The moment you thought loyalty was the rule was the moment you stepped into the biggest illusion. Cheating is not the exception, faithfulness is. And once you see it, the game of relationships never looks the same again. Take Daniel, 34 years old, a construction manager in Dallas. For years he lived under the comfort of routine. Coffee at 6, work boots at 7, home by 6. He believed that showing up every day, providing stability, and being the man she could depend on was enough. He wore his devotion like armor, never missing an anniversary, always being the one to rearrange his plans so she felt prioritized. Yet one night, while cleaning up after dinner, her phone lit up. A name he had never seen before. The smile she gave to that screen was not the smile he had been chasing for years. It was smaller, sharper, alive in a way she hadn't been with him for months. She excused herself, said it was a work friend. But when she returned, her eyes carried that distant glow, the one that tells a man he is no longer the center of her theater. Daniel didn't explode. He didn't accuse. He simply felt the cold silence of a truth sinking in, that while he was playing husband, she was already rehearsing another role somewhere else. The weight of his sacrifices collapsed in a single look, and what remained was emptiness. He thought loyalty was love. She thought loyalty was leverage. When was the last time she smiled at her phone while your words died in silence? Be honest. I will give you the move to flip it. Just type a few words in the comments right now. Machiavelli warned that appearances matter more than declarations. In the theater of desire, the one who shows all his cards becomes predictable, and the predictable man is replaced. What most men never grasp is that statistics on cheating don't reveal the truth, because the truth hides behind masks. Surveys ask questions, but women answer reputations. They don't admit to backup plans, because admitting it would shatter the illusion of purity. Yet behind closed doors, most already have an exit strategy. Another man orbiting, another text thread, another hand waiting to catch them. Cheating is not the sudden betrayal most imagine. It is premeditated insurance, the quiet preparation for a future where she no longer needs you. What comes next isn't noise. It's the move that makes them addicted to your absence. He thought consistency was devotion. She saw it as availability, and availability is the currency that devalues itself the moment it floods the market. Men collapse not because women are cruel, but because they mistake routine for power. In the mirror of Daniel's story lives every man who believed that loyalty could chain desire. He gave too much, she gave less. And when the imbalance grew unbearable, she vanished into someone else's shadow. Stop explaining why you're worthy. Stop trying to prove what should already be obvious. Tonight, hold back one word. Tomorrow, hold back one gesture. Let her sit with the silence. Let her feel the gap. You'll notice she stops testing you, not because she respects you, but because she can no longer read you. Scarcity, not abundance, is what bends desire. Skip what comes next, and you'll keep performing in someone else's fantasy, never your own reality. The following section reveals the darker law of hypergamy, and why ignoring it keeps men trapped in a game they can never win. 2. The nature of hypergamy. The moment you believed love was enough was the moment you misunderstood the game. She doesn't just choose you. She chooses the higher ground, the better option, the man who represents more power than you do. Hypergamy is not a theory, It is the gravity that pulls every choice she made. Marcus was 37, a financial analyst in Atlanta. He thought he had won when he married Julia, a woman he had admired since college. He built his career carefully, bought a home in a quiet suburb, and created what he thought was stability. Every weekend he took her out, bought the new furniture she wanted, and saved for their future. But slowly he noticed her attention drifting, the phone left face down on the table, the extra care in her appearance before girls' night, the polite but cold smile when he asked about her day. One evening after a company dinner, Julia returned home with a glow that had nothing to do with wine. She mentioned his boss in passing, praising his confidence and drive. Marcus felt a sharp pang but dismissed it as his own insecurity. Weeks later he found a text on her tablet. Short, teasing, intimate. His chest froze as he realized she was not only comparing but already shifting her loyalty upward. The truth was brutal. While Marcus believed loyalty was built on love, Julia believed loyalty was built on advantage. Next time she praises another man in front of you, will you react or will you stay unreadable? If you dare, say, "I will show you how to turn it into leverage." One word in the comments is enough. Machiavelli warned that human beings rarely move without self-interest. In the theater of desire, women measure not only how they feel but how far they can climb. Hypergamy is not greed, it is strategy. She doesn't want a man who is simply good. She wants a man who makes her feel like she cannot do better. When she looks beyond you, it isn't because she hates you. It is because she sees possibility, a ladder, a door that was never opened with you. Like a mask slipping in a play, her smile reveals calculation, not passion. Soon you'll see why saying less doesn't just protect you, it pulls people closer. He thought devotion was permanence. She saw it as a placeholder, and placeholders are always replaced when the real option appears. What destroyed Marcus was not betrayal in a single night, but the slow bleed of comparison. He became predictable. Predictability became weakness, and weakness, in her eyes, was an invitation to look elsewhere. Stop trying to prove you are irreplaceable by giving more. Pause. Hold your words, hold your gifts. Let her sit with the silence of not knowing what you will do next. That uncertainty is not cruelty. It is the only space where respect grows. You'll notice she stops testing you not because she suddenly values your kindness, but because she feels she could lose access to you at any moment. In a world ruled by hypergamy, the man who controls his presence controls the entire frame. Ignore this and you will stay blind to the quiet force that governs her choices. The next part reveals the comedy of cheating. Why betrayal isn't just cruel, but absurd, reckless, and humiliating for those who fall into it. Miss it, and you'll never understand how laughter often hides the sharpest knives. 3. The comedy of cheating. The moment you thought betrayal would be tragic was the moment you misunderstood its true nature. Infidelity is not just cruel, it is ridiculous. It is reckless theater where people trade dignity for 5 minutes of attention. And once you see the comedy in it, the mask of romance falls off completely. Ethan was 41, a logistics supervisor in Denver. After 12 years of marriage, he began noticing little things that didn't add up. His wife, Laura, suddenly became obsessed with her phone. She laughed harder at messages than at his jokes. She claimed yoga classes were running late, yet her sports bag smelled faintly of men's cologne. He tried to brush it off, thinking maybe stress at work made him paranoid. Then, one evening, a neighbor casually mentioned seeing Laura's car parked 2 blocks away at 2 p.m. Ethan confronted her, heart pounding. She smiled, tilted her head, and with a tone dripping in false innocence said, "You're imagining things." That smile shattered him more than any confession could have, because in that instant he realized she wasn't just hiding. She was mocking the loyalty he had built his life on. The next day, while scrolling through an old laptop, Ethan found her logged-in dating profile. Dozens of messages, photos exchanged, names of men he had never met. The betrayal wasn't elegant or mysterious. It was sloppy, desperate, like watching someone trip over their own lies. He thought betrayal would feel like a knife. Instead, it felt like a circus. How many times did you chase harder the moment she mocked your devotion? Stop lying to yourself. I will expose why power vanished. Write a few words in the comments if you've lived it. Machiavelli warned that men destroy themselves not because they lack love, but because they ignore ridicule. In the theater of desire, betrayal often hides behind absurdity. Women who cheat imagine they are entering a secret romance. In truth, many are simply recycled by the same small group of men trolling dating apps, whispering the same tired lines. It is not passion, it is a revolving door where every player believes they are unique, while in reality they are interchangeable. Like actors reading the same script, they mistake repetition for destiny. What comes next isn't noise, it's the move that makes them addicted to your absence. He thought loyalty created safety. She thought safety created boredom, and boredom always searches for chaos to feel alive again. The pattern repeats. She craves drama, he offers stability, and the moment his predictability suffocates her fantasy, she leaps into the arms of a man who promises nothing. In the mirror of Ethan's collapse stands every man who believed his devotion would protect him from ridicule. He gave her a fortress. She turned it into a cage. Don't defend yourself against absurdity. Don't waste your breath explaining to someone who already decided to laugh at your devotion. Instead, pull back. Stop chasing, stop clarifying. Let the silence expose their recklessness. You'll notice they stop mocking when there is no reaction to feed on. They stop testing when they can no longer read you. And when the game turns ridiculous, the only winning move is to refuse to play. Skip what comes next, and you'll miss the mechanics behind how betrayal is orchestrated in the shadows. The following part uncovers the hidden system of infidelity, the rules, the codes, the strategies that make it repeatable. Miss it, and you'll never recognize how predictable the chaos truly is. 4. The mechanics of infidelity. The moment you thought cheating was about love was the moment you misunderstood its machinery. Infidelity is not passion, it is logistics, it is routine. It is two phones buzzing at the same time, two lies rehearsed in front of the mirror, two strangers coordinating like business partners in a dark economy of desire. Kevin was 43, a real estate broker in Phoenix. Outwardly, he was average, thinning hair, a modest apartment, nothing that screamed status. Yet every weekend his home became a revolving door. Neighbors noticed unfamiliar cars parked outside for an hour, then gone. At first, Ethan, his roommate, dismissed it as casual dating, but then patterns emerged. Before Kevin went on a date, he would call his closest friend to check availability, not availability for his schedule, availability of the woman. They had created their own unspoken registry, making sure they didn't double dip. It wasn't romance, it was inventory. In 1 year, they cycled through nearly 70 women, married women, single women, women who thought they were special, yet they were nothing more than temporary entries on a shared list. Ethan remembered the sound of laughter echoing from the next room, followed by silence, then the door closing. No flowers, no dinners, no emotional investment, just a transaction. And that's when it hit him. Cheating is not about longing, it is about efficiency. When did you last rush to reply just to calm the storm? If you dare, admit it. I will give you the way to keep control. 1 word in the comments is enough. Type it now. Machiavelli warned that men who ignore patterns become victims of them. Infidelity is not chaos. It follows rules as strict as a chess game. The women who thought they had discovered a secret romance were, in truth, participating in a system already mapped out. Their passion was mass-produced, their secrets recycled. They imagined intimacy while being slotted into a timetable. Like masks handed out before a play, each woman wore her part without realizing she was never the only actress on stage. What comes next isn't noise, it's the move that makes them addicted to your absence. He thought betrayal was rare. She thought betrayal was survival. and survival in her world meant keeping multiple doors unlocked. The mirror reflects every man who believes exclusivity protects him. What he sees instead is rotation, predictable, mechanical, ruthless. The moment one loses novelty, another takes her place. Do not argue with machinery. Do not plead with a system designed to ignore feelings. Step out of the rotation, break the pattern tonight. Resist the urge to explain when silence exposes more truth than words ever will. Tomorrow, let her wonder where your attention has gone. You'll notice she stops testing you, not because she has grown faithful, but because she no longer knows how to read the rules of your game. Skip what comes next, and you'll stay blind to the real-life encounters that show how ordinary men in ordinary neighborhoods become the quiet accomplices in this theater. The following part will reveal the shocking details of those encounters, the moments where secrecy became absurd, where betrayal looked like routine, and where men learned too late that what they thought was private was never theirs at all. 5. Real-life encounters. The moment you thought betrayal only happened in movies was the moment you missed the reality happening right next door. Infidelity is not hidden in luxury hotels or exotic trips. It hides in broad daylight, in quiet neighborhoods, in the garage door that closes a little too quickly. Andrew was 36, a firefighter in Cleveland. His marriage looked stable from the outside, 2 kids, a mortgage, barbecues with neighbors every summer. Yet one afternoon, while driving back from his shift, he noticed a car parked inside his own garage, a car that wasn't his. He slowed, heart racing. As the garage door rolled down, he caught a glimpse of his wife, smiling at a man in the driver's seat. By the time Andrew stepped inside the house, she was in the kitchen, acting as if nothing had happened. If you could send one message to yourself before you walked into the garage and saw the truth, what would you say? Be ruthless. I will rewrite it in Machiavelli's voice. One short line in the comments is enough. He asked about the car. She laughed, dismissing it as a friend who stopped by. But her eyes gave her away. The flicker of panic, the quick deflection, the way she avoided his stare. In that moment, Andrew realized his home, his supposed sanctuary, had been reduced to a drive-through, a place of quick exchanges, no intimacy, no love, just convenience. He thought his vows had built walls around their bond. She saw those walls as cover for her secret. Machiavelli warned that the illusion of order is often where the greatest chaos hides. In the theater of love, monogamy is praised in words, yet mocked in actions. Human beings speak endlessly about loyalty, but their instincts betray them. Promiscuity is not an accident, it is the default. While men build homes, women open doors. While one partner believes in permanence, the other experiments with escape routes. The mask of family life covers a performance that is anything but pure. Soon, you'll see why saying less doesn't just protect you, it pulls people closer. He thought marriage created immunity. She thought marriage created invisibility, and invisibility is what allowed her to cheat in plain sight. In Andrew's story lies the mirror. The man who works himself to exhaustion believing duty equals devotion, while his wife searches for thrills that strip both of them of dignity. The loyalty he believed sacred became the very camouflage that enabled her betrayal. Stop assuming monogamy protects you. Stop assuming vows are shields. Today, notice the small signs, the sudden secrecy with her phone, the eagerness to leave the house without reason, the half smile when you ask simple questions. These details are not harmless. They are signals, and when you stop ignoring them, you reclaim the power to choose, not to be chosen blindly. You'll notice she tests you less, not because she changed, but because she can no longer hide behind your blind faith. Skip what comes next, and you'll miss the darkest illusion of all, the belief that rules, ceremonies, and promises can protect you. The final part reveals why every safeguard fails, why even religion and rituals collapse, and why only self-control gives you leverage in a world where desire obeys no vows. 6. The illusion of protection. The moment you thought vows would shield you was the moment you walked unarmed into the battlefield. Rings, ceremonies, and prayers do not stop desire. They only decorate the illusion that loyalty can be enforced. What you call protection is often nothing more than theater. David was 40, a software engineer in Toronto. Stable job, respected in his community, known as a quiet man who lived by principle. When he married his wife, he believed the rituals would lock their bond forever. Photos framed on the wall, relatives praising their union, friends toasting to eternal loyalty. For years, he carried that belief as armor. Then, one evening, while scrolling through a dating app to test the waters after his separation, I encountered her. Married, still wearing her ring in photos. She agreed to meet for a drink. When we sat across from each other, her laughter was casual, her tone relaxed, but her words carried the sting of betrayal. She admitted without shame that she had a husband, a man of status, a figure respected in the city, someone with power and recognition. Yet here she was, sitting across from another man, trading secrets as if vows never existed. David never suspected a thing. While he was presenting her as his pride, she was presenting herself as available. The rituals he trusted had not been protection. They had been camouflage. He thought vows were chains. She thought vows were curtains. What limit will you set this week that she cannot cross without losing you? If you dare state it, I will show you how to guard it. Type one word in the comments to begin. Machiavelli warned that laws without enforcement are nothing but words. In the theater of love, rituals are like painted masks, beautiful but powerless against instinct. What most men fail to see is that monogamy only works when chosen freely. When forced, it becomes a prison door left unlocked. A woman determined to step out will always find an exit. The man who hides behind tradition is the man who never notices the mask falling until it is too late. What comes next isn't noise, it's the move that makes them addicted to your absence. He thought marriage guaranteed exclusivity. She thought marriage guaranteed options, and options are what make betrayal inevitable. In every story like David's, men repeat the same mistake, confusing ceremony with control. The photographs, the rings, the prayers, none of these bind desire. They only bind appearances. The moment you confuse appearance for reality is the moment you hand over your power. Stop assuming faithfulness is earned by symbols. Stop believing the ritual protects you. Tonight, observe. Watch her actions more than her words, her silences more than her smiles. Tomorrow, resist the urge to explain when she grows distant. Let her feel the weight of your silence. You'll notice she no longer tests you, not because the vows became stronger, but because she can no longer predict your moves. Control is not in the ritual, control is in the restraint. Skip what comes next, and you'll miss the closing circle where all these truths converge. The conclusion reveals why perfection cannot save you, why purity is strategy, and why only by mastering yourself can you command loyalty in others. Miss it, and the cycle repeats. Faith in rituals, blindness to reality, betrayal that always feels sudden but never truly is. This is where the circle closes. What you've just seen wasn't about tricks or cheap tactics. It was about tearing away the illusions that kept you powerless and reclaiming control in the one arena most men lose. Less explanation means more respect. Less presence means more desire. When you stop believing vows and rituals will protect you, you finally see how strength comes from self-mastery, not blind faith. This isn't about becoming cold. It's about becoming untouchable. You don't need to beg to be chosen. You don't need to shout to be heard. When you cut off the excess, when you let silence work for you, people recognize your value without you lifting a finger. One of our longtime viewers, Michael, a 39-year-old entrepreneur from Chicago, once told me his story. He used to chase, explain, and overcompensate, believing his devotion was enough. Every time, he ended up being taken for granted. But after following the strategies here, he shifted. He stopped rushing to reply, stopped overgiving, and started holding his frame. The result? His relationships transformed. His wife, who once treated him as predictable, began respecting him again. And Michael told me something powerful. Respect doesn't come when you prove yourself. It comes when you no longer feel the need to. You could be next. Subscribe now, because the shift starts quietly, but once it begins, it changes everything.